Jack and Mary, tired of the frantic pace of city life, decide to spend a weekend at an old farm in Maine. It was a place Jack had inherited from his grandfather, about whom he said he had known since childhood as a strange and mysterious man. Mary was wary of the proposal, but finally agreed, succumbing to Jack's entreaties. "It's only for a few days," he assured her. They set out on an early October morning, and after a few hours' drive, an abandoned farm stood before them. The nature around it was dazzlingly beautiful in its autumn colors, but the farm itself looked somehow ominous. The ruined buildings, the gnarled fences, the weedy fields, everything spoke of abandonment and decay. As they entered the main house, Mary felt a strange tension in the air. The dusty rooms, the old photographs on the walls, the cracked furniture, it all seemed the embodiment of a forgotten past. Jack, trying to lighten the mood, smiled and said, "Just an old place. It's no big deal." During the night, a violent thunderstorm broke out. Lightning ripped through the sky, illuminating the gloomy silhouettes of the abandoned farmhouse. Mary couldn't sleep. Every whiff of wind, every clap of thunder made her shudder. She went to the window and suddenly she noticed a huge shadow moving among the ruins. "Jack, did you see that?" she asked, grasping his hand. "It's probably just a play of light," Jack said, trying to sound calm, though he felt a slight chill of fear himself. But the shadow appeared again and again, coming closer each time with each lightning strike. Jack decided to go outside to see what was going on. He grabbed a flashlight and stepped out into the pouring rain. Mary stayed inside, shivering with fear and cold. She heard Jack calling for her, but his voice sounded strangely distant, as if he was not near, but somewhere in another dimension. Suddenly there was a loud bang on the door. Mary screamed, and Jack rushed back into the house. "We have to get out of here now," she shouted. But Jack, trying to keep his composure, locked the doors and windows. They barricaded themselves in one of the rooms, not knowing what to do next. Hugging each other, they fell into an uneasy sleep. The thunderstorm had subsided by morning, but their fear did not leave them. As dawn broke, Jack and Mary hurriedly packed their things and ran out to the car. As they started the engine, Jack noticed something strange in the glove compartment of the car. Opening it, he found an amulet wrapped around his hair and covered in unknown symbols. "What is it?" Mary asked, looking at the find in horror. Jack, not knowing what to think himself, only shook his head. They left the farm quickly, but the uneasy feeling did not leave them. Back home, Jack tried to forget what had happened, but the amulet and the shadows of the night kept him awake. He decided to find out more about his grandfather and that farm. After a few days, he found his grandfather's old journals, which described strange rituals and creatures around the farm. Jack realized that the shadow they saw wasn't just a play of light. It was an entity that his grandfather had left on the farm for some reason. The amulet appeared to be part of a ritual designed to keep that entity within the confines of the farm. But now that the amulet was in their home, they could fall victim to it themselves. The nights that followed became a nightmare. Shadows began to reappear in their home, each time coming closer and closer. One night, waking up from another nightmare, Jack saw the same shadow by his bedside. He realized that the only way to save himself was to return the amulet to the farm and complete the ritual his grandfather had once begun. At dawn, Jack and Mary set out for the farm again. A thunderstorm was beginning to gather over them when they returned to the site. With a shiver in his hands, Jack placed the amulet on the old altar described in the diaries and found in the back of the farm. The moment he completed the ritual, the shadow disappeared and the thunderstorm instantly subsided. They returned home, hoping the nightmare was behind them. The farm remained behind them, now forever forgotten. Jack and Mary lived happily for many years, trying not to remember their experiences on the farm. But one day, many years later, their children found their grandfather's old diary. That night, they saw the very shadow that had never left their family.